What's going on, guys? Arekkz here. Welcome back to another video for Borderlands 3, and we're back with another build guide, this time turning your attention to the Siren, the brawler, that is Amara. This is going to be your shock brawler build. Of course, if you guys have seen Amara, she's the Siren in Borderlands 3, but she is also the kind of brawler class, so for those of you guys that want to get up close and personal, get in people's faces, it's not the only thing she can do. She can kind of fill that slightly more conventional Siren role, but if you really want to kind of get the build that embodies her as a character, then this build is for you. This is the build that Vesmore has been running in our playthrough right now, and he's basically spec'd out so that you have a meaty shock brawler build, which kind of works best in groups of enemies. You typically have to rely a little bit more so on your guns for boss fights, but when you're in groups of enemies, this allows you to just kick out crazy melee damage and just like really just run up and smash things in the face, right? That's kind of what you want to do with a brawler class, and this lets you do it. So starting off, no surprise here, you're going to be down the brawl tree because you're a brawler, right? Your first skill is Face Slam. This one is where Amara leaps into the air and slams down to the ground, dealing damage to nearby enemies and knocking them up, which is kind of useful. This is the sort of Asura's Wrath style build. I love this one. Looks really cool. But yeah, that's the skill you're going to want. Of course, after that, you're then going to be going and spending points in personal space. This one is maxed out. Obviously, it's exceeded the max because of the class mod, but you want to max out personal space because with this, Amara's weapon shots deal bonus damage, and based on the distance to her target, the closer the target, the greater the bonus. So obviously, you know, pair this with something like a shotgun, run up in someone's face, then, you know, you want to be close, you want to be doing that. It all kind of, you know, synergizes quite nicely. On top of that, you want to have Root to Rise maxed out again. For this one, Amara gains increased max health, which is going to be quite important because you're basically going to be putting yourself in harm's way, so you kind of can't be a glass cannon in the process. You're then going to want to max out Samsara. Whenever Amara deals damage to an enemy with her action skill, which of course is your Face Slam, she then adds a stack of Samsara. Now for every stack of this, Amara gains increased gun damage and health regeneration for a few seconds, and the stacks decay after a few seconds. So of course this is, you know, get up close, smash the enemies, your gun damage is increased, pretty useful. Pair that, of course, with Helping Hands, and for this one, for a few seconds after using your action skill, Amara's arms remain active and grant her damage reduction. So, you know, again, thinking about this the way that you use it in combat, you run in, slam down the enemies, put yourself in danger, you're right up in their face, but you get some damage reduction, so you can then lean into that increased gun damage. You then want to jump down and get Find Your Center, max this out. Amara gains increased melee damage. Additionally, for a few seconds after using your action skill, Amara gains increased melee range. So, you know, if you had enemies like a little bit further away, you can still grab them. You then want to have Mindfulness maxed out. This one, whenever Amara takes damage, she gains a stack of Mindfulness, and for every stack of this, Amara gains improved shield regeneration delay and movement speed, and of course again the stacks decay, so that'll help with your survivability. You're then going to want one with Nature, where Amara gains increased max health and elemental damage resistance to her action skill element. You're also then going to want to max out Job Cross, where whenever Amara deals melee damage to an enemy, she gains increased action skill damage and increased gun damage for a few seconds, so again, stacking that damage. You want to max out Guardian Angel, where whenever you enter a fight for your life, she will immediately gain a second wind, restore her health, and create an action skill elemental Nova that may knock back nearby enemies. So this is just a really kind of cool way to basically counter your enemy. You go down, get back up, smash them in the face. It's super satisfying. Alright, and then of course after that you're going to go and jump down to the end of the tree and you're going to grab Blitz, where this is your melee override. When you press V or whatever your melee button is, while aiming at an enemy, you can make Amara dash a short distance forward and perform a special melee strike, dealing elemental melee damage. And of course, on top of that, if a Blitz melee attack kills an enemy, Blitz's cooldown is immediately reset. So you've got a lot of things in here that basically increase your melee damage, and you then have the ability to dash forward, kill someone, and potentially get that attack back straight away. So, as you can see, this is one of those ones that's really good in mobs of enemies. Again, as I kind of mentioned in the beginning, maybe not so much for bosses, because you're obviously not going to one-tap them, and typically you kind of get close to a boss and try and melee them, and it's not always going to go your way. But either way, still pretty good. Now on the mod front, you're then going to want to go over and you're going to want to select Revelation. For this one, Amara's action skill now creates a Nova when it damages enemies, dealing damage to all nearby enemies. So that means instead of kind of just having like a single target punch, you now have the ability to spread that damage a little bit further. On top of that, you're then going to want to have Anima, which for this one, Amara's status effects deal increased damage over time and have increased duration. Her action skill status effects also deal further increased damage. You then want to max out Tempest, where you deal increased elemental damage, and specifically shock damage is further increased. And finally, you then want to put some points into Illuminated Fist, where Amara gains increased melee damage, and her melee damage is converted to her action skill element. So again, all kind of synergizes nicely in basically just being able to run up and punch things in the face. Now, again, as I said in the previous videos, these were made around sort of level 45, so of course once you start specking a little bit higher, you can spend your points elsewhere, but this is basically the crux of the build. This will allow you to run up to an enemy and start meleeing them and kind of doing your siren duty as a brawler. Basically, the kind of typical flow for this is that you will punch a target, which will then proc Blitz for 100% extra melee damage, as well as, of course, jab cross. After this, you then want to go and use your Face Slam and catch as many enemies as possible. And of course, if you catch at least 3, that will max out Samsara. From there, while in close proximity to enemies, you then want to utilize kind of close range weaponry, things like shotguns, stuff like that, because that's of course now buffed by Samsara and personal space, as well as melee enemies at greater distances due to your, final center. Of course, in the process of this, Helping Hand will allow you to survive at melee ranges with some of the tougher enemies, and Guardian Angel gives you that sort of get out of jail free card if you happen to go down. And because of course you're always very close to the fight, you will constantly be taking damage, which often kind of keeps your, or basically always keeps your mindfulness stacks maxed, which increase your movement speed by a substantial amount, allowing you to kind of get around and hit more targets. So as you can begin to see, as a whole complete picture, this works out pretty nicely. So if you guys do want to kind of really embody Amara and go around punching enemies, feeling like a badass, being a siren in the process, this is the build for you. Hopefully you guys find this helpful. If you have any questions, by all means drop in the comments down below, but otherwise be sure to keep it locked for plenty more Borderlands content. I really hope you guys enjoyed that video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and also click on the little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss my next upload. Also, don't forget you can check out 269 and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. Be sure to drop by and get involved. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.